All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. Today is Saturday, May 21st, 2022, and you are now watching Permission to Exist. I am your host, Permission to Exist, also known as PTE. And tonight we are going to talk about a few signs that your future boss is a complete nut. So, welcome everyone as you fill into the chat. I want to give a big shout out to everyone who supports the channel, be that through Patreon, Cash App, Super Chats, or by liking, commenting, and subscribing to the channel. I appreciate you all greatly. There's info there on your screen if you are interested in supporting. And apparently, there's something called Super Thanks now. So, I need to add that to this little picture. So thank you to everyone who does that. It really does help, and I appreciate it so much. So let's talk about, well, first of all, I want to welcome everyone back from that fiasco from a few days ago. That was actually a system-wide YouTube glitch, and they had our videos on private and locked for almost 24 hours. So I was sitting here thinking about all the streamers who probably lost hundreds of dollars that day. I didn't lose hundreds of dollars. I'm not there yet. I don't think YouTube ever wants me to actually get there. But there are people who, one video, they can make a couple $100 off of the video from ad revenue alone. And their video was locked for 24 hours. So they did finally get them back on, but the two uploads that I released were just performing better. So I have unlisted those live streams. If you want the link to the unlisted shows so you can read the super chat, let me know. You got to email me and I will send you that unlisted link. Other than that, we'll just go with the videos. Okay, so I wanted to let everyone know what happened. Personally, I think they got hacked because the fact that they couldn't just like flip a switch and turn it back on tells me that the problem was very deep in the system. So that was crazy. I'm like, of course, the day I decided to come back from a little mini hiatus, something like that would happen. And I had fallen out of the habit of recording the shows because things have been going so well. So I stopped recording them. So I hadn't even recorded that one. I had the backup copy, but not the recorded one. So I'm recording this one. And that means that things will probably be just fine. So welcome everyone. Welcome to the show. Got kind of it's we're going to be serious tonight, but this is also kind of lighthearted and funny because I can't believe people like this actually exist in the world. So, tonight's show, Signs Your Future Boss is a Complete Nut. This is based off of a job posting, not really a posting, it was a job opening that was emailed out to everyone on this particular individual's mailing list. So I don't think that she ever posted it publicly. I think she just sent it out to everyone who was on their mailing list or on her mailing list. And I am going to change up just a few details. And I'm also not going to reveal her name or her company's name because I'm actually not trying to trash her. I'm not trying to expose her and I'm not trying to expose her company. I have absolutely no qualms with what she does for a living. And also because she put this out there in the universe, I feel like she gives fair warning. This person, this job posting I'm going to read, she gives you fair warning that she's a complete nut. It's one thing to pretend like you're not crazy and try to get people to buy into that idea. But after I get through reading this to you, if you weren't fairly warned after reading this job opportunity, then I feel like you're one of those people who, you could say, hey, don't cross the train tracks. The train is coming and you're going to cross anyway. Even though you see the lights on the train, you see it, you hear it, but you're going to go ahead and cross anyway. That's the type of person that you are. If you ignore red flags as big as the ones that we're getting ready to get into. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and read it. Just a little bit of back story on it. I actually got this probably like a year ago and I waited because I wanted to make sure that it was no longer out there or very hard to find. Because again, not trying to expose this woman, I was just floored. I couldn't believe I couldn't believe she put this into words and sent it out to people. And I do still wonder to this day whether or not anyone applied, got the job, and if they're actually still there. Okay. So who knows? I didn't follow up that much, but I did save this for one special day when I would bring it to you and read it to you all. So, welcome everyone. The type of job, I'm going to switch it up a little bit, is something along the lines of a personal assistant. That's the easiest way for me to protect the actual job title that is listed. And also, no visuals because I didn't want to display it or anything. So, it's just going to be all audio tonight, okay? So, it's something like a personal assistant, and it's 7 pages long. 7 pages, but it doesn't read like 7 pages, but it's definitely 7 pages long. Okay. So I'm going to read it to you. I'll be giving some commentary along the way. Then I will follow that up with some formal commentary. Then we'll get out of here. Okay. Let's begin. It starts out, I'm looking for an exceptional, experienced personal assistant to be my right hand person. You have experience supporting a visionary CEO, busy tech executive, and or thought leader. You understand online business and media and have supported public figures, thought leaders, and high net worth individuals. You must be located in a specific state to apply for this role, and you must be able to travel periodically. This is a full-time role. You'll work from my home office in the specific state, 3 to 4 days per week, and remote for the rest of the time. So far, so good. She's looking for someone who's kind of worked with high profile people, authors, thought leaders, influencers, CEOs. And it's a mostly, well, it's actually a blend. So you're going to be working in her home office sometimes and remote the rest of the time. So far, so good. And then the other requirement so far, you had to live in a specific state because you have to be able to go to her home office. So far, we're good so far. Nothing. Well, yeah, the chat says, oh my God, 7 pages, immediate red flags, right? So I guess we could start off there. It's 7 pages long. I've never seen a job posting this long before. Okay. So let's continue. About you. You're used to being the right hand person to high demand individuals who require responsiveness, immaculate execution, and extreme attention to detail. You work for an online business and or understand the world of digital products, software, content platforms, product launches, etc. You may have experience working for a thought leader, personal brand, best-selling author, or media personality. You have the ability to prioritize tasks, make quick decisions, solve short term challenges quickly, systematize everything, hire a personal assistant and other freelancers and vendors as needed, and represent me in meetings. So, again, nothing too crazy just yet, but keep in mind it's 7 pages long. Friends may call you OCD, life hacker, optimizer. You do not cut corners. When there's a problem or bottleneck, you don't whip out the band aid. You find the source and eliminate the issue at the source. You're intuitive. You will be the layer between me and the world. Your number one priority is preserving my energy for items that are in alignment with my genius zone and that only I can do. You can tell when I'm off and you inquire about it because you know that self work makes the business work. You know mental, emotional, and spiritual health all affect performance. So you aim to help me maintain peace of mind. You yourself have an unshakable calm, peace, and level headedness, regardless of the attitudes of those around you or the circumstances. You have experience hiring. You've read the book Who, or practice a similar systematic approach to hiring. You're able to hire, delegate, and manage people and help them perform at high levels and produce amazing results. So things are starting to take a turn. They're starting to take a little turn, but we're going to discuss that when I'm through going through the whole thing. Sample projects. You're joining at an exciting time where I'm focusing on special projects designed to take my personal brand to new heights. You will be my thought partner, instigator, catalyst to ensure we meet special projects deadlines. These may include writing, publishing, promoting a book, recording a podcast, producing a YouTube series, themed photo shoots, and CEO retreats. Here's a list of sample projects you'll be responsible for. A, you will hire and manage a personal assistant and house manager. You'll hire a house manager and or personal assistant to run everyday tasks to ensure my household and life are tightly managed and cared for. B, in-home video podcast setting record up. So, wow, I really messed that up. In-home video podcast recording setup. You'll identify and source the equipment needed for me to batch record podcast episodes. You'll ensure it's all set up, so I just need to show up and record. You will ensure the recordings get to the editor and that all next steps are lined up. C, book brainstorming and writing. You'll create space in my schedule for me to brainstorm and write my book. You'll join me on a lot of these brainstorming sessions to help me flesh ideas out and voice record and bounce concepts back and forth. You will coordinate scheduling with potential writers, editors, book agents, and publishing houses and ensure we stay on deadline. D, manage my email inbox. The goal is for me to spend no time in my inbox. You'll learn the types of emails coming in, how I respond to them, and you'll become the first point of contact for every incoming email and will know how to respond in my place. I currently have labels and tags assigned to the most common types of emails in my inbox. As emails come in, you will ensure that I achieve inbox zero every day by 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time and again at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You'll continue to identify trends and categories in my inbox and create categories, tags, and organization. And you will unsubscribe to any unnecessary newsletters. Oh, but it gets better. You just wait. Welcome. The chat says this person's fantasy expectations are raising my anxiety level. That's exactly how I felt when I read through this the first time. That's exactly how I felt. I was like, oh my God, I quit already. I quit. Like I quit already. I didn't even apply. I quit. You will ask me a series of questions to uncover how I use my inbox and set up systems so it's automatically organized and remains decluttered. E, manage and optimize my calendar. You'll ask, excuse me, you will ask me what my ideal day, week, month, and year look like. You will ask me what my current day, week, month, and year look like. You will set up my calendar to reflect the ideal week. You will set up Calendly or Acuity to reflect my availability for each type of event. So when I get requests for social gatherings, interviews, etc., we know where to put them on the calendar without them being disruptive to my focus. You'll add agenda items to all of my meetings so I am well prepared in advance. Keep it together, PTE. You can do this. F, traveling. When I travel for speaking engagements or conferences, slowed down now because of COVID, but previously 5 times per year, you will come with me. You will book our travel and hotel arrangements. You will work with my stylist and personal assistant to pack my bags for my trip. You will book and manage local makeup artists, photographers, and videographers for each destination. The chat says this is a whole ass relationship. Oh my God. You will book any additional visits, meetings, or appearances that will maximize each trip. G, project management. You will manage the most challenging project in our business, me. And she put a little smiley face after that. You'll manage the most challenging project in our business, me. You'll set daily quick check in meetings to review our priorities for the day to ensure I'm on track to meet goals and complete pending tasks. You'll manage our timeline and subscribe to no task left behind. You'll be my partner in completing creative tasks that I may get stuck on, such as talking through email copy, reviewing a video, etc. If you see one of my tasks has not been completed that day, you'll put it on my calendar. If it's not my if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist. H, business and brand growth, social media posting. When necessary, you'll complete tasks associated with business and brand growth, such as applying for an award or recognition, doing welcome and sales calls, press outreach, event planning, etc. You will create and maintain SOPs that are constantly updated between me and you. This will improve the way we work and our processes over time. You will ensure I'm meeting my social media posting commitments. You're savvy with photo editing and will work towards posting on my behalf on a regular schedule. I automate and systematize everything. You will work towards setting any recurring task on autopilot. You will work on clearing as many repeatable items off your plate with as much vigor as getting them off mine. You will create as much predictability and stability in my schedule and to dos so I'm freed up to dream, imagine, and create at my highest level, and so you can do the same. Personality and qualities. I'm intentional about who I put into my life. Here's what I'm looking for in my right hand person. Number one, high energy. You bring that infinite, untouchable energy. Number two, positive and optimistic. You bring the light and the unconditional love for others. You know everyone is doing the best they can. Number three, skilled communicator. You understand instructions the first time and clearly express yourself in person and over email. Number four, great sense of humor. You don't take yourself or anyone too seriously. You lighten the mood and liven every room you walk into. Number five, multifaceted. You have all these hidden talents because you've done a wide range of responsibilities in the past and can figure out anything with the help of Google, YouTube, podcasts, and Audible. Number six, independent thinker. You ask why. You don't do things a certain way just because everyone else does it that way. You seek to understand why and make your own decisions. Number seven, discreet. You keep the private details of my life, our business, and our team private. You take confidentiality and discretion very seriously. You're not doing this role so you can do it for the gram. You're doing it because you believe in the mission we're out to accomplish. It's not about boosting your public persona. Number eight, high emotional IQ. You don't just understand emotions, you know your strengths and you know how to lean into them and use them to your full advantage while keeping your weaknesses from holding you back. You show authenticity and provide positive feedback where applicable. Number nine, you're a productivity tools enthusiast. You have go to tools that increase efficiency, and you're always on the lookout for more. You can figure out a new tool or platform in a minute. Now she's going to tell you about herself. It says, about me, I'm looking for the yin to my yang. So you'll complement my natural strengths, not mimic them. We can't be identical, otherwise, this won't work. Smiley face. There's more. We're not done. Then she gave her strengths finder. Futurist. I'm motivated by the future, by what could be. I'm always looking and moving forward. I'm easily disinterested and discouraged by fixing things that aren't working. I have limited patience to problem solve. I like creating new stuff. I also have little interest in everyday tasks that are small but important. So I will drop the ball. So I need you, the one who can multitask in your sleep. You've been juggling multiple balls without dropping them since birth. You're excellent at being present in the moment, giving the task at hand your full attention. At the same time, you see the why of what we're doing and how it fits into the big picture. Therefore, you are able to prioritize what gets done and in what order, and you get a kick out of problem solving. Number 2, activator. I naturally create a roadmap to get from point A to point B and get into fast action. This is great, except I'm selective about where I apply this superpower. This is a complete nut, you guys. She's a total nut. She's lazy. She don't like to do nothing. She's telling you she'll create a roadmap to get from point A to point B, but she's selective about when she does it. So she basically is. Let me just finish. Let me finish. I'm selective about where I apply this superpower. Some projects go ignored because I'm too overwhelmed to get started. That's where I need you to step in and have a gauge on what's essential, what's a priority, help jumpstart me, and or get it done with other team members. So sometimes I will need you to call me out and activate me because I may get in my feelings, in my head, and off track. She just told you she's a complete nut. I need you to call me out, activate me because I may get in my feelings, in my head, and off track. If you do recognize it, don't say her name, okay? Because I'm not trying to expose her, honey. To me, if you do this, you put this out there, you're letting everyone know you're a complete nut. So I'm not trying to expose her. So don't put her name in the chat, okay? If you do know who it is. So she's telling you she gets in her feelings, she gets in her head, and she gets off track. So she's scatterbrained, basically. She's scatterbrained. All right. Maximizer. I do the most with the least. I am always seeking the most effective route to get something done. I once purchased a book called The Lazy Person's Guide to Success. Real talk. I'm that guy. That's because I'm a fan of putting in the minimum amount of effort to achieve the maximum payback. If this ain't a narc, honey, if this ain't a narc, I don't know what else is. I just need to hang it up. She likes to put in minimum effort for maximum outcome. I am the queen of energy preservation. This is great, except sometimes I rush things just to get them done instead of pausing to ask, what's a repeatable system we can set up to have this get done faster and more reliably in the future? I want you to balance the get shit done attitude with the wisdom of what's repeatable and sustainable for getting this done on an ongoing basis. And we are finally to the last piece. I'm skipping over quite a bit. She's giving background on herself, who she's worked with, how much she's worth, all that. And then I want you guys to guess how much this job is paying. Just take a couple of guesses in the chat. Just take just take a few guesses in the chat. Throw some numbers out there. How much do you think this job pays? And welcome to everyone in the chat while we wait on some figures. I should have done a poll. All right, so far I've got 80K. What other guesses do we have? $12 an hour is a guess. What else we got? 35K, 17 an hour. Okay. It says I got a 60,000. Says should be 200K, but will be between 70 and 80K. And another guess says minimum wage. All great guesses. Nancy and Rebound, y'all came the closest. So it's a full-time role. The compensation is $83,000 to $100,000 base, plus a generous performance-based bonus. Okay? All right. So, hey, listen. Y'all know one of my favorite phrases, one of my favorite sayings is, an even swap is not a swindle, okay? So if someone is telling you right on the front end that they are a complete nut and you still dive in head first, again, you're one of those people who like walks in front of a moving train, even though someone said, hey, the train is coming, be careful. And you just walked across the tracks anyway. That's you, okay? So that's why I'm not exposing her, trying to call her out, honey, because I think she might even actually know that she's crazy, okay? So let's talk through a few of the reasons why I recognize that this is a complete nut. And for those who maybe sincerely don't really get it, like they heard me read the whole thing and are kind of like PTE, I mean, that's the job description. What's wrong? Hopefully, if that's your thought process, you must be new here. So welcome. And I will hopefully explain it well enough for you to understand why you should probably go running in the other direction. Okay. I think it needs to be a million personally. And I'll tell you why in a minute. But something like this, for a person to agree to all of this, they need to be getting paid like $1 million per year. I'm serious. And I'll tell you why, though, in a minute. But first of all, well, let me see. What order did I want to go in? Because I have notes and I also highlighted a few things. Let me go through my highlights first, then I'll go through my notes. The first thing that jumped out at me, aside from it being 7 pages long, is when she said, you will be the layer between me and the world. So it's almost like she wants a protective blanket. It's almost like she doesn't want to do anything really. Like it's almost like a teenager in a way. Like, mom, will you make my food? Mom, will you do my laundry? Mom, will you make my bed? Mom, will you take me to soccer practice? Mom, like a teenager's mom or dad, a teenager's parent can be a protective layer between themselves and the world. And then she follows that up by saying, your number one priority is preserving my energy for items that are in alignment with my genius zone and that only I can do. So apparently there's things that only she can do. And she has a genius zone that she has to power up for. So your job is to preserve her energy, which is really ridiculous if you think about it. You can only preserve your own energy. You can't preserve someone else's energy. You can help preserve someone else's time, but you cannot preserve someone's energy. But she wants you to be her energy manager. And I made a list of everything she wants her to be. And I saw a few more come in chat. So let me write this down. Energy manager. I saw the word engineer in the chat earlier. I saw therapist, but I actually already had therapist on my list. Okay. So we'll get there in a second. She wants you to be her energy manager. And can you imagine that if you don't manage her energy well for that particular day, you're going to probably get in trouble. She was like, I was so frustrated today, and your job is to make sure that I'm not frustrated. It's like, I can't control your reaction, honey. I cannot control how you react to things. That's you. But she wants you to be her energy manager. So she can get into her genius zone and focus on things that only she can do. Then she said, you know that mental, emotional, and spiritual health all affect performance. So you aim to help me maintain peace of mind. It's like, honey, I am not Xanax. I am not an anti anxiety medication nor an antidepressant, honey. Only you can do that. Like, that's one of the biggest red flags throughout this whole entire thing. There's a lot of internal operations that she's literally putting at the feet of someone else. That's like me saying to someone, your job is to make me happy today. I want to be happy all day. And if I start to feel like I'm not getting happy, you need to figure out why that is and make me happy. Like, wow. So your job is to be her, as she said, the yin to her yang, which gets way codependent as we move through this thing. Okay. So you gotta regulate her energy for her. Then this really threw me for a loop. She basically lays out in here that you're going to be doing a lot of writing. You're basically going to be writing her books for her. Absolutely. The chat says she wants credit for another person's work. She's a genius at taking credit. Absolutely. Excuse me. She said that you're going to be her thought partner, instigator, catalyst. It's like she wants you to be her life coach, honey. Let me add that to the list. Life coach. You got to be a life coach. Life coach, pastor, preacher, therapist. So, catalyst to ensure that we meet special project deadlines. These may include writing, publishing and promoting a book, recording a podcast, producing a YouTube series, themed photo shoots, and CEO retreats. So, like, who exists like this that has all these different skill sets, honey? Because later on, she's going to tell you that you need to be able to hire and fire people, basically. So you're a boss, a manager, you're a production assistant, you're a YouTuber, a podcaster. Who is this? That's one of the reasons I feel like this needs to be paying close to $1 million. For someone to wear all these different hats, that's $1 million job, honey. You're asking me to be almost 30 different people. Let's continue though. So you're going to be doing some writing. So whoever you hire has to know how to write also. Later on, she says, you'll join me in a lot of these brainstorming sessions to help me flesh ideas out and voice record and bounce concepts back and forth. So you and this woman are going to be sitting in her basement probably while she's sitting on the other side of the desk, scatterbrained, trying to figure out how to put it into words. And you're like, well, why don't you try it this way, word it this way? She reads it. No, I don't like the way that sounds. Write something else. So you write something else. Okay, what do you think about this? No, I really don't like the way that comes out. I don't like that word. Can we swap out that word? Like, girl, oh my God. Wow, I would quit the very first day. I wouldn't even make it to the first day. I read this and I quit. Okay. But you're going to be doing a lot of creative work for her, basically. It sounds like you're going to be doing a lot of thinking for her. Right. The chat says, who would subject themselves to that? A total nut, another nut. So if if you agreed to something like this and you know she's a complete nut, you might be a nut yourself. Okay? But you're going to be doing a lot of creation. You're going to be writing her books for her, writing articles for her, blogs, doing little podcasts, setup, editing, and probably not getting the proper credit for that either. Okay? And you're her brainstorming partner. Like, you literally have to help this woman think. That is among the highest of the put-offs for me. Like, I understand doing tasks for someone. Like, I get the concept of a personal assistant, which is not what this job title is, but it's very, very close. Like, I get that they do a lot of that kind of stuff. They book things, they book people, you know what I'm saying? They run errand. Like, I get that. But honey, I cannot think for you. Oh my goodness. The chat says, doing that much, you might as well be in business for yourself. I agree 100%. Like, if I'm doing all this for you, girl, well, I'm getting ready to jump ahead into my notes. So let me stay focused here. But you're going to be doing a lot of thinking for her. I don't like that. Use your own brain. God gave you a brain, use it, okay? You're the one who's done all this work with all these CEOs and Fortune 500 companies. So that means you're smart, right? Or did you get ahead by just basically extracting all of these things out of other people and presenting it as your own, which is why you can't do it because you've never done it on your own. You've never actually sat down and done it yourself. Someone else has always done it for you. But your end customer doesn't know that. All they get is the finished product and they think this is all you. And it's really not. It's some poor assistant that you done worked to death. Yeah, you'll be doing all the thinking. And you know what that means, right? If you do all the thinking for someone else, when something bad happens, that means that you're going to take all the blame because they were your thoughts after all. Like, after all, those were your thoughts. Oh, the book didn't sell? Well, you wrote half of it, so it must have been your terrible writing skills. You see what I mean? Like, that's where I draw the line. I cannot think for you unless that's literally what you're paying me to do and nothing else. You're paying me to be your creative generator. Hey, I need you to generate ideas for me. Like, that's what you're going to do all day. You're just going to sit around and brainstorm. That's what you do. Fine. But I can't help write your books, do your podcast, and keep you calm and keep you emotionally regulated. Girl, what do you think this is? Who do you think I am? Okay. Then she puts the responsibility of her email on you, which is kind of sort of normal. Like, assistants do check emails, respond to emails, and all that. But at the same time, I could not imagine relying on someone else to know. Like, I would feel like at a total loss of control over my own life. Like, every bill that comes in, every notice, if I was this type of person, every interview request, every private email that comes in is going through someone else's eyes, someone else's brain, and then they tell me what they think is important from that pile. Like, no. Mm-mm. If nothing else, just pull out all the spam, pull out all the ads, all the spam, pull out and delete all that stuff. But everything else I'll take a look at. It's my email. Like, I need to know what's going on. You know what I mean? It's basically like it's basically like she has uninstalled her own brain and basically is kind of downloading your brain into her head in a way. So she's just giving up on her own mind and asking you for yours, essentially, because she doesn't want to do it, which she tells you later on. She actually tells you later on that she doesn't like to do little tasks that need to be done, which, wow, okay. Like, the fact that she said it out loud is insane to me, okay? Like, of course, CEOs who are super busy can't like be doing little like grocery runs and things like that. They have to focus their time on other things. But the fact that she literally just says, "Yeah, I don't like doing small tasks that need to be done." Like, it's the height of laziness. And narcissists are very, very lazy people. They don't like to think, they don't like to work, they don't like to do anything. They're fundamentally lazy. So let's continue. This part really tripped me out here. She said, "You will ask me what my ideal day, week, month, and year look like. You will ask me what my current day, week, month, and year look like. Then you will set up my calendar to reflect the ideal week." So I find that bizarre and strange because to me, that's something you should already just know and something that you would tell somebody. Like, I know what my ideal week would look like. If I were to hire a personal assistant and we're trying to get my calendar all set up, I could tell them ideally I'd like to do this on Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, so forth and so on. That's my ideal week. Maybe I have trouble getting it all to go that way, but that's kind of what I would like for it to look like. But she says, "You will ask me." So in other words, it's like she wants like a honey, a best friend, a boyfriend, a mom, like that's something I feel like you ask a potential spouse or someone you're thinking about proposing to, like, so babe, what does your ideal day look like? And then they tell you, you're like, okay, so what does your ideal week look like? What does your ideal life look like, babe? That's something you ask like a lover or a spouse, I feel. When we're asking, but if this is an employer employee situation, you just tell them. Like just tell them. Like, I'm surprised she didn't put this in here, but I'm sure it comes out on the actual job. And I'm not trying to be graphic, but this is the thought that I had. I'm like, she probably would have this person track her periods for her too. Like, she doesn't even want to keep up with that, I imagine. I'm surprised she didn't put right in the job description, you will track my monthly menstrual cycle and ensure that I have enough supplies to properly manage my monthly cycle for me. Like, I guarantee that that comes up in conversation. Like, hey, you need to tell me when my period is about to come on. It's like, do you also want me to tell you when you're hungry? Do you want me to wake you up in the morning and give you a bath? Would you prefer that? Like, we can go full baby. Like, I can just get you out of your bed, roll you into the shower, give you a little bath, wipe your mouth, then I can go fix you a bottle if you would like. Give you that, put you in your high chair, and we could just kind of take it from there if that's what you want. Like, if that's what you're looking for, because that's what it sounds like. But she probably does expect you to track her menstrual cycle, pack her supplies for it, let her know when it's coming on, and then rearrange her schedule so she can cramp properly and have focus time left over to enter into her genius zone. Like, girl. So then she moves on to the travel portion. When I travel for speaking engagements or conferences, you will come with me. I remember reading that part. I went, oh God. I remember going, oh my God. Oh God. Like, what a nightmare. What a nightmare. I could picture her like pulling up to the airport with like sunglasses on, legs crossed, and like you walking up to the check-in desk and like she doesn't say a word, like you talk for her. And maybe that's what assistants do. They speak for their boss. But my point is, like, I could picture them making announcements over the loudspeaker, like flight 1312, please come to the front, and her being like, what did they say? Like, not even having enough concern to listen to what's going on around her. Like, you have to be her eyes and her ears for her. So anything that's going on around her, you're absorbing it all, you're taking it all in, and you're relaying information to her because she's too lazy to listen. It's like she doesn't want to do anything for herself, including think. Including think, okay? This part, and perhaps this is just me not knowing how this industry works. She said, you will work with my stylist and personal assistant. So apparently there is a personal assistant. She said, you will work with my stylist and personal assistant to pack my bags for my trip. That right there, that's real. That's what did it for me, y'all. On top of everything else, I'm like, girl, I got to pack your clothes for you too. Are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? Yes, the chat says you're her little puppet. Like, I can't imagine having someone else pack my luggage for me. Like, I have way too much anxiety for that. I would never feel like I had everything I needed. Never. Now, it's one thing if I give someone a list, like, these are the items of clothing I want to take. These are the toiletries. These are the shoes, which is still weird because it's like, if you're going to take the time to write all that down, you might as well just go do it yourself, unless it's not like clean or not back from the dry cleaners. But like, if you're going to write all this stuff down, which I don't think she is. I think she wants you to kind of intuit what she needs, which is also weird. She doesn't seem big on telling you. She wants you to either ask, guess, or intuit what she needs. But you're going to pack her bags for her. Darling, you are not an A-list celebrity, baby doll. This person is not an A-list celebrity. Okay. Like, and even the A-list celebrities, I feel like probably to some extent pack their own clothes because they know what they want to wear. Like, do they really give up all of their autonomy like that? To where people are just whatever, just pack whatever, I'll wear it. But on top of that, honey, from one grown woman to another, I'm not packing your drawers for you. I'm not. You're a grown woman. And you're an adult. Like, I'm not packing your drawers for you. No, pack your own underwear. Like, okay, I'll pack your shoes and your toiletries or whatever, but how do I know what you want to wear? Yeah, in her head, she's A-list. Yeah. Like, wow, man. Like, I just like, who do you think this person would be? Do you think that this would be another adult with a full life? Or is this like a young person? Is this going to be someone fresh out of high school? Is this a college graduate? Like, obviously, this person doesn't have a life of their own. There's no way they could if they worked for you. Okay. But she wants you to pack her bags for her, y'all. So when y'all get there and she doesn't have that bathing suit she likes, she can yell at you for not remembering that that's her favorite bathing suit. It's almost like she wants you to know more about her than she knows about her. Okay. But like I said at the start of the show, I'm not exposing her because she's telling you she's a complete nut. Because she goes on to say, you will manage the most challenging project in our business, me. So she knows. She knows she's challenging. She knows she's a problem. I wonder how many assistants she's gone through. Okay. You'll manage the most challenging project in our business, me. And then closes that out with a smiley face. Okay. So then she goes on, she mentions that you have to be savvy with photo editing as well, which I'm like, oh, wow. So you got to be a podcast producer, a YouTuber, an author, and be able to publish books and stuff. And you need to know how to edit photos and post them on social media on her behalf. So social media manager. These are a lot of different hats. Okay. Then she says, you will create as much predictability and stability in my schedule so I'm freed up to dream, imagine, and create at my highest level. And so you can do the same. It's like, oh, really? I have the freedom to dream here. I can dream. But to me, this sounded like the way that women manage their toddlers. Like, I've seen people have like schedules up in their house, Sunday through Saturday, when it's time for him to eat, when he needs to take a nap, when he needs to do enrichment, when he needs to do his little homework, when he's going out to play with his friends, when he's coming back. Like, they have their kid completely scheduled out to create like a sense of structure around the child. It's like a child. Like, to me, as I read this, I'm like, she almost becomes like your baby, a baby with a lot of different needs. But you will create as much predictability and stability in her schedule so she's freed up to dream, imagine, and create at the highest levels. And so you can do the same. She wants the same for you. Oh, I noticed she also didn't mention like an actual schedule. The only thing she said was full time, but she didn't say like what the hours were. She said that you have to go to her home office 3 or 4 days. Uh-oh. I wonder where I left off. Crap. What's the last thing y'all heard me say? What's the last thing? It was my fault. I was on mute. I don't know how I got there though. What's the last thing y'all heard me say before I cut out? Dang, it was good too. Oh, but I'm recording today. Yay. Does anyone remember what I actually was talking about before I cut out? Okay, let me back up a little bit then. I was saying that it sounds like a relationship. Did y'all hear me talk about how it's almost like having a baby? Did y'all hear me talk about that? It says the hours. Did y'all hear me talk about how it's almost like scheduling a toddler? Did y'all hear that part? All right. Well, I'll keep going. Sorry about that. I didn't realize I had muted myself. Okay, y'all did hear that part. Okay, so I'll just keep going. So then she goes on to tell you about what she needs out of you and what she needs from you as a person. She needs you to be high energy, positive and optimistic, a skilled communicator, but you also need to have a great sense of humor in spite of everything that's going on with this job. You need to lighten the mood and liven every room that you walk into, which is just kind of like, okay, come on, girl. Like, who is your vision for this job? This person has all this stuff going on. They're writing books for you, packing your lunch, packing your suitcase, booking all this stuff, editing podcasts, booking you, and also at the same time be super positive, optimistic, and happy. These people are so incredibly unrealistic. It's unbelievable. And a lot of them think this way. Like, I'm going to dump all this on your shoulders and you need to do it with a smile. It's almost abusive in a way. Like, I need you to smile through all of this. Even if you're not having a good day, I need you to smile. And don't express your true emotions and true feelings regarding what's going on here. All right. So then she needs you to be multifaceted, an independent thinker, discreet, have a high emotional IQ, and be way into productivity tools. Like, the part about, I thought this was weird to include. She said, you're not doing this role so you can do it for the gram. You're doing it because you believe in the mission we're out to accomplish. It's not about boosting your public persona. So, in other words, this is not about you. This is about me. So don't get all excited and thinking that you're going to be like, oh, I work for this person. Like, no, go pack my suitcase. Like, right. The chat says, LOL, why can't she just be these things? Isn't that the point of being alive? Being who you need and want to be, right? Like, I cannot imagine turning this much of my life over to somebody else. And then on top of all of that, you guys, you're going to be working out of her home office, meaning her house. You're going to be at her house every day. Chat says she needs a robot. Yes, she does. Okay. So then, then she gives some details about herself. She says, I'm looking for the yin to my yang. So you'll complement my natural strengths, not mimic them. We can't be identical, otherwise this won't work. Man. Absolutely. Chat says it's like she's paying you to be her slave. Yeah. She wants you to be the yin to her yang. Does that not sound like some sort of marriage to you? Like, she wants you to literally be like her other half. Like, do you want me to watch you while you sleep and tell you that, for 2 hours you were snoring, then for 1 hour you stopped snoring? I think you were in deep sleep when you stopped snoring. Then for about 3 hours, I think you were dreaming, actually. Your eyelashes were flickering, your eyeballs were kind of fluttering, you were twitching a little bit. I think you were actually dreaming for about 3 hours. Then about an hour later, you stopped. And then you woke up. Good morning. Do you want a bottle this morning or do you want some bacon? Entanglement, yes. Big time entanglement. Okay. Ah, correct. The chat says no, she wants you to have her dreams. Exactly. Duh. What was I thinking? You're supposed to be the one dreaming for her, honey, about the future. Okay. Then then she goes on to tell you that basically your strengths need to be different from hers and that you guys cannot be the same, otherwise it won't work. So to me that means she knows she's crazy, you guys. She knows she's nuts. She knows, because she knows that she has another her in the house, nothing will get done. She knows that. So she's looking for someone to balance out basically all of her weaknesses, basically, which there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But I think that, like, if you're a disorganized person, obviously you probably want to hire an organized person. That makes sense. There's nothing wrong with that thought process. Okay, I'm disorganized, so I need to hire someone organized. It's more the symbiotic nature of what she's proposing. Like, chat says, and interpret her dreams as well. Correct. You need to dream the dreams for her and then interpret what they mean and then develop an ideal week plan based off of that. All while you're hiring a house manager and packing her suitcase for you guys' upcoming trip together. Like, I wondered, like, do you have to eat every meal with her? I feel like you would probably have to. Like, you would probably have to eat every meal with her. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, because, that's when creativity could happen. And you don't want to be somewhere else if she has an idea and she can't write it down because you're not there. Like, oh my God. So, anyway, she tells you can't be identical to her, otherwise, this won't work. Then she goes on to give her strengths finder assessment. She says she's a futurist. I have limited patience to problem solve. I like creating new stuff. So, in other words, to me, the way I interpret that is like her life is probably a chaotic, disordered mess because anytime something goes even slightly wrong, she gets flustered and just walks away from it. So like if her internet is not connecting to her computer, like she just throws her hands up and just walks away like the computer is broken, when really all that may have been needed is like a router reset or what, little box. You reset it, unplug it, plug it back in. That might have been all that was needed. But if it's not working when she sits down, she's going to get up and walk away. Very short fuse. This person has a very short fuse, okay? I like creating new stuff. So, in other words, she doesn't like to look at anything in the past like a true narc. The past contains so much valuable information, but they don't like to look at it. She said, I like to focus on new stuff. Yeah, you like creating new messes. Talking about, I like creating new stuff. She likes creating new messes. Okay. This is where I started to get some major narc energy. It says, I also have little interest in everyday tasks that are small but important. So I will drop the ball. Like she flat out says it, period. So I will drop the ball, period. So I need you, the one who can multitask in your sleep, honey. Then she said, you've been juggling multiple balls without dropping them since birth. So to me, if this all star exists, they would never work for you. They would be running their own company, honey. The person who can do all of these things independently with no help is probably running their own enterprise. They're not going to give up whatever they have going on. Who is this person, too, by the way? With all these different skill sets, you're an author, a boss, a business manager, a podcast editor, a YouTuber, a personal stylist, and assistant. I'm surprised she didn't mention chef. I'm really, really, really surprised she didn't say that you need to know how to cook so you can feed her. Okay? So, who is this person? Like, who exists like this? Anyway, she needs you to be able to juggle multiple balls, and you need to have been doing that since birth. Okay? Then She goes on to tell you, sometimes I will need you to call me out and activate me because I may get in my feelings, in my head, and off track. Like, sweetheart, no, honey. No, baby doll. No, you're an adult. You want me to call you out. And she strikes me as the type of person who's not very open to feedback at all. Like, you probably can't give her any feedback whatsoever and expect good results. But she really expects you to be the one, like I said, a life coach. When she's getting all in her head and her feelings, to like grab her by her shoulders and be like, "Hey, hey, hey, you need to snap out of it. I'm going to activate you right now. Okay? You're activated. Get out of your feelings, get out of your head, and let's get focused and get the job done." Like, she needs somebody to like push her, basically. She needs somebody to push her towards her own business. This is your business, girl. Like, this is literally your business, and you need me to activate you toward your business. Like, what's going on? Oh my God, what's happening? All right. Then here's some more major narc energy. She said, "That's because I'm a fan of putting in the minimum amount of effort to achieve the maximum payback." She's lazy as hell. She's lazy. And she's telling you that she's lazy. "I'm a fan of putting in the minimum amount of effort to achieve the maximum payback." Now, hear me out. I'm all about efficiency. I believe in efficiency also. Like, I love when two things are happening at once. Like the laundry is going and, I'm cleaning the living room or something. I don't know. Or you find something that makes your job a little bit easier. That's what innovations and inventions are supposed to be for, to make life slightly easier. You put the food in the crock pot tonight instead of cooking it all individually. Fine. It's not that I have any problem whatsoever with innovations or things that make our life more efficient. It's the fact that she says things like, "I'm the queen of energy preservation." So basically, what I envision is that this woman just sits on the couch with her heels kicked up while you're running around doing all the work. See, that's what I don't like. That's what I don't like. I don't like the idea that it's not that you're not doing it because you're doing something else. You're not doing it because you don't want to. You don't feel like it. And you don't feel like you should have to. So you'll just make someone else do it and make someone else responsible for your whole life, for your whole entire life. She said, "That's because I'm a fan of putting in the minimum amount of effort to achieve the maximum payback." So, you know what else that probably means? It probably means that she's a cheapskate. That's how a lot of cheapskates are. Cheapskates try to put in the minimum amount of money for the maximum payout, maximum payoff. Which, again, I'm not suggesting that you should just go around throwing your money out, like it's free, and not try to find the best deal. It's it's the cheapskate attitude that comes with it, okay? Because cheapskates usually end up paying a lot more in the end anyway. Instead of just buying what you needed and paying the money, you bought the cheap version, it broke, and now you have to buy another one. That's how I see it. They don't know how to make wise investments, basically. Right. I'm surprised it doesn't say must know how to make the perfect cocktail, right? And then to close it all out, she's offering $83,000 to start, between 83,000 and 100,000, and a generous performance-based bonus. So that is a decent salary. Well, let me rephrase. For any other job, that would be a relatively decent salary. However, for everything she's asking you to be, which includes a personal assistant, a house manager, a business manager, a product manager, a media manager, a therapist, personal stylist, best friend, mom, spouse, energy manager, engineer, and life coach, And I feel like I'm missing some. For everything she's asking you to be, that's $1 million job because primarily you are giving up your own life for hers. You're like a sacrifice. I did make this. Chat says, PTE, did you make this slide? Looking at this almond headed lady and listening to you has me in tears. I did make this, and I'm glad it has you in tears because it had me in tears when I was making it. Okay. Like, you are literally giving up your own life. You might as well move in with her. Do you see what I mean? When would you go home? When would you go home? When would you sleep? When would you tend to anything that has to do with your life? So you are essentially sacrificing your whole everything, your identity. You certainly can't have any friends. You can't have any pets. You certainly can't have a relationship of your own. Oh, y'all are just now seeing that almond head? A complete nut. Okay? You certainly can't have a life of your own. Do you think you're going to go out and party? You think you're going to have a social life? That's why I was like, who does she envision that this would be? An older person, a middle aged person, or a young person? Because to me, the only person this could be is a young person who's not doing anything else with their life. They're not going to college or school. They don't have any other kind of job, no friends, no nothing. Like they are totally focused on you. So y'all just now seeing that almond head? Are you kidding me? Are you serious? It's been, it has literally been there the whole time. The whole time. The fact that y'all just now saw that is making me laugh pretty hard. That's hilarious. Okay. So let me give a few more thoughts and then we'll get out of here. Okay. Well, actually, it looks like I've given the majority of them, but let me just run down it. So the first major thought that I had was that this is just too much for one person. Okay. It's too much for one person to handle all of this. That's a lot. Like, that's an awful lot to put on the shoulders of one human being. And with that, how long do you think it would actually take someone to master that? Like people spend a lifetime trying to figure themselves out. So how long do I have for orientation basically? How long is new hire orientation? She seems like the type of nut that would expect you to have it mastered probably within like a week. So your first week on the job, you should have all this stuff figured out immediately. They don't believe in training, they don't believe in learning curves. And just like it was indicating earlier, you have to ask her what her ideal day, week, month, and year look like. She's not going to tell you. You have to ask her. So, how weird are you? So, you already know, but I have to pull it out of you. Like, do you think I'm your life coach? You see what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? How long would this take? I feel like it would take 6 months to master something like this, truly master it, to study her habits, study her patterns, interview her, figure out what it is that she has this grand vision of, get it all down, like get the calendar down. I feel like this would take a long time. And you're packing this woman's bags for her. How weird is that? Hey, I need you to book our trip, book our hotel, book our flight, and pack my bag for me. Like, no, ma'am, girl. I would say, all right, I'll pack your bags, but I'm not packing your drawers. I'm not packing your underwear for you. You need to pack your own underwear, okay? Like, we're both grown, we're both adults, we're both women. No, no. And you're not my teenage child or my toddler or my baby or my mom. Like, if my mom was elderly and we were going somewhere and she needed some help packing, no problem. Like, I'll pack for my mom because that's my mom. But we are the same age, girl. No, ma'am. Pack your own drawers. Like, what in the world is going on? Thank you, Daniel, for the super chat. I appreciate it. It says, thanks for this hilarious stream, PTE. You're welcome. We got to call these nuts out when we see them, man. We got to call them out. Okay? Appreciate you so much. So, how long would this take? I honestly think it would probably take a year to master it, to be honest with you, but 6 months minimum. You might as well move in with her. I would be like, do you have a basement apartment? Because I need to live with you if this is going to be my day to day life. I have to intuit what you need, what you want. I have to predict it, stabilize your life for you. I have to help you manage your energy and your emotions so you can enter into your genius zone. I have to do all these little small tasks for you, quite frankly, because you don't feel like doing them. I have to activate you. I have to call you out because you get in your feelings and you get in your head. No, ma'am, girl. It sounds like you need extensive therapy, honey. You need therapy. Says, if she had a pretty basement with an escape tunnel I'm in, honey, you would have to dig that escape tunnel yourself. You would have to find one of those big pictures that kind of sit on the floor. They're too big to sit on the wall or hang on the wall. And when you can actually get her to sleep, put the baby to bed, you need to be in there digging, honey, with like a little shovel. And you need to be digging yourself an escape tunnel. And when she wakes up, you just slide the picture, just slide it over. Be like, hey, morning. You had 3 dreams last night. She's like, wear my Fitbit for me and tell me how my physical performance is doing. Monitor my heart rate and let me know when my heart rate exceeds a certain number so I can calm down. Like, man, like, wow. Okay. So then again, she made no mention of your personal life. First of all, do I get health insurance with this job? Like, am I going to get health insurance? Because I'm going to need it. Like, I'm probably going to need therapy, counseling, prayer. I might need an exorcism by the time I'm through with you, girl. So, am I going to get health insurance as part of this job? She didn't mention health insurance. No, she didn't mention time off or sick days or anything like that. So to me, that means that she's not thinking about you or your time off or what you're going to need. She's only thinking about how you're going to basically serve her day in and day out for $100,000 that you're never going to get to use. Okay, you make $100,000. When do you get to use it? What you gonna do? You gonna go somewhere? You gonna go on a trip? Please. What, you think you're gonna have a nightlife? Please. You think you're gonna be shopping for who? For yourself? Please. You're gonna be shopping for her. Like, you you can save up all that 100,000 because you're not gonna get to use any of it. She might let you eat from time to time. Like, I'm surprised she didn't put in there, be my taste tester. I'm very sensitive to different foods, but I like to try new things. So I need you to taste test things for me. And if you find them acceptable, I need you to feed them to me like a mother bird feeds her baby birds in the nest. I need you to chew my food up for me and then regurgitate it to me and feed it to me like a mother bird feeds her baby birds in the nest. I need you to have the same allergies that I do. So when we taste test food, if you have an allergic reaction, I'll know not to eat it. Like, girl, okay? Then I wrote down here codependency. I wrote codependency. I said, no one is responsible for your energy or emotions. Can they make your life easier? Sure, but you are an adult. So, can people get on our nerves and drain our energy? Yes, but it is up to us to remove ourselves from those people so they no longer drain our energy and get on our nerves. But ultimately, I'm responsible for managing my emotions, nobody else. Like, you are not someone else's emotional regulator. And that's how a lot of narcs, or that's how a lot of narcs place you in their life. They make you responsible for all of their emotions. And it's quite the burden to carry. Like, uh-oh, she's unhappy. That's my fault. Hey, she's happy. That's my fault too. You know? Uh-oh, she's frustrated. That's my fault. Hey, she's at peace. That's my fault too. Like, you are the manager of your own emotions, your own. You cannot put that on someone else unless they are actually a therapist. And even then, the therapist will tell you that you have to do the work. Almost all therapists will tell you in some kind of way that you have to do the work. So for her to say that she needs your help preserving her energy, your number one priority is preserving my energy for items that are in alignment with my genius zone and things that only I can do. You can tell when I'm off and you inquire about it because you know that self work makes the business work. You know that mental, emotional, and spiritual health all affect performance. So you aim to help me maintain peace of mind. So, in other words, she wants you to be sitting across the room looking at her and then saying to yourself, her performance is off today. Let me go find out why. Do, 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 do. Hey, you're a little off today. What's up? Oh, I think my emotional and mental health is out of whack. It's like, well, what can I do to help bring back peace of mind? Like, she wants like this live in life analysis, pseudoscientist type. Like, you can't tell when you're off. Like, I know when I'm off. You know what I mean? And I don't mean off like not working. What I mean is like you're not on. So, like, you're thrown off, basically. Like, I know when I'm thrown off, or I just got through telling y'all how I got out of sync because I was really churning out the shows for a minute there. Then school hit and all this other crazy stuff. And I got out of sync. So I know when I'm out of sync. I know when I'm off. I don't need anybody to tell me. But she wants you to be looking from across the room and being like, you're a little bit off your game, like a coach, basically. Like, hey, what's up? What's up, bud? You're a little bit off your game today. Come here. Come sit down to me. Sit down next to me on the bleachers. What's wrong, bud? What's on your mind? Girl break up with you? What's wrong? Well, I need you to put your head back in the game. We got a major championship coming up, and I need you to put your head back in the game so we can win. That's what she wants. She wants you to be a life coach. Okay. Then we talked about the rest of it already. Basically, how long would it take to learn all of this, and then to give up your own life and identity? A compensation like that should be closer to $1 million. $1 million is what you need to be coming with for compensation, because you're literally giving up your life for however long to basically live someone else's life for them. And that's probably going to be really traumatic when all is said and done. And you're going to need extensive counseling and therapy. So, you know, that's how I feel about that particular job description. I've been sitting on this one for a long time. So I was really, really excited to bring it to you and bring this to you. Let me read through a few of you guys' comments and then we'll get out of here. And I appreciate you all so much for being here to go through this craziness with me. These are the signs that your boss, your future boss, is a complete nut. It says she's scatterbrained and needs you to reel her in. Absolutely. Oh no. It says, I live this life. Are you going through that right now? Is this kind of what your job is like? Or is that related to something else? Yeah, absolutely. It says she's the type of boss that calls you any hour of the day, even holidays. Absolutely. There's no such thing as you anymore. Once you take this kind of job, there's no such thing as you anymore. You cease to exist. Says she wants you to be her mom, man, sister, writer, therapist, coach, engineer, PR team, all of that. And probably her God too. I'm surprised she didn't say, I need to be able to pray to you at least once a day, and I need you to answer my prayers. I'm surprised. Like, you might as well just throw it in there. It Says the heifer needs a lithium injection. She wants credit for another person's work. She's a genius at taking credit. Absolutely. I believe that's how she got to where she was because she's really not selling much of anything, honey. I wish I could tell y'all who it was, but I am committed to protecting her identity, mainly because she just put it out there. Like, we know she knows she's a nut, and you should too after reading that. It says, yes, 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 you are responsible for the narc's feelings. Absolutely a nut job. I see this all the time. All the time. It says, and what TF is a thought partner? You know, you got to sit there and help her think, basically. You got to help her think. You got to pull it out of her. And she's going to bounce ideas off of you. And I'm like, okay, so while we're doing that, aren't I supposed to be like checking your email? Like, I can't do all these things at the same time, honey. I can't be checking your emails, being the manager for the house manager, booking our flights and hotels, telling you where to be, managing your mental and emotional state, and being your thought partner at the same time? Absolutely, you cannot. Says you can't have your own life. Absolutely not. Who would subject themselves to that? A complete nut? Another nut? Yep, doing that much, you might as well be in business for yourself and probably would be if you had that level of a skill set. Unless that's what you do for a profession, which I know that there are professional personal assistants. But that's a lot though, and that's pulling on a lot of different skills that most people don't have, I don't think. You might have quite a few, but I don't think everyone possesses all of those. It says she's self-proclaimed. I think she is. You'll be doing all the thinking. Yes, you will be. And you'll be taking all the responsibility for everything that goes wrong. Master extractors, absolutely. Extracting all those ideas from you and passing them off as your own. It says extraction zone. She probably doesn't have a comprehension level high enough to properly understand nor appreciate the assistance that she requests. The narc mentality would forever have her at variance. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, man, that was just kind of an aha moment. That's how a lot of these CEOs and stuff get ahead. They really don't have the comprehension levels to do any of that stuff. They don't have the ability to like see it through. I think it's actually called executive function. They have no executive function, but what they do is hire people, extract the hell out of them for their executive functions, put their name on it, pass it off as their own, and then people think that they are amazing. When in reality, they just get people to do everything else for them, including think. I remember I wrote a speech for, she wasn't my direct boss. She was a boss in the department. And I wrote a speech for her. And I really didn't want to because I knew she wasn't going to give me credit when she read it. But I did it. I went ahead and wrote her speech for her, put it on my resume, whatever. But I remember thinking to myself, now they're going to walk away thinking that you are so smart, and you're really not. And she really wasn't. But you're reading my words. They're going to think that came out of your brain, and you're going to get the credit for it, and your career is going to continue to rise. So I had never did it again since, and I don't plan on ever doing it again unless I'm getting paid to do so. It says narcs are fundamentally lazy. PTE. Absolutely. They're lazy at a fundamental level. They're lazy at the core. Yep. It says she wants someone with an imagination so she can claim it as her own. Absolutely. Says she's a two-legged black hole of need. Absolutely. And you know the job description will get added on to. It'll never end. Like if she has kids, and I'm actually not sure if this woman has kids or not, but I imagine eventually it would turn into, I need you to tutor my children for me on Friday nights as well. I need you to sit with them for 2 hours and tutor my children. Let's see. It says you can never do enough for a narc. They cannot be satisfied. They confuse what they need with what they want. Her job description is an inexhaustible wish list. Absolutely. Like, I am dying to know if people applied to that job, if anybody got hired, and if they're still there today. Because notice she didn't say, it'll take us about 3 months to get up to speed, and I hope to keep you long term. Like, she didn't even mention long term. Long term was not part of the conversation. It says, it says, I tell you a truth around here. I've seen many people do that kind of life in different settings without an assistant. Yeah, they're completely nuts. They want you, as soon as I detect that out of people, if you're able bodied and there's nothing wrong with you, oh, I correct that fast. I correct it fast. Like, nope, no, no, nope. You're an adult. You're healthy. There's nothing wrong with you. You do it. You're not going to use me. You're not going to use me, honey. It says you're her little puppet. Absolutely. Yep. She wants you to pack her bags. It says she's not interested in doing the small, important daily things, but ironically, she's likely incredibly petty. Probably one of the pettiest persons you could ever meet. One of the pettiest people you could ever meet, probably. Like, she's definitely going to notice, which is like, why do you even notice? Like, you don't want to do it, so mind your business. Like, stay over there. Let me do this my way because you don't want to do it, remember? But I guarantee you she would notice. It says in her head she's A-list. Honey, in her head she's A+ list. I don't think so. Says I want to meet her. I don't know if you want to meet that one, honey. I don't know. Good luck. Walk out in front of that train. Walk out in front of that train if you want to. Let's see. And then the sound went out. So I'm at the part where the sound went out. Like, she might as well have you live with her. Why not? Says she sounds worse than the lady in Devil Wears Prada. Right? What a complete nut. And I know people like go real crazy with their assistants and have them running to get dry cleaning and coffee and taking messages and booking meetings. Like, I get that it's a very, very involved job, but I have just never seen someone basically say, you are responsible for regulating my emotions. I've never seen anything like that. You have to keep me calm. You need to help preserve my energy. That's your number one priority. Preserve my energy. Girl, you are not the Queen of England, honey. I think the Queen might do more work than you do. It says big time entanglement. Says she needs a scullery made. I don't know what scullery means. Let me look it up. Let's see. Scullery. Definition. Scullery, a small kitchen. A small kitchen or room at the back of a house used for washing dishes and other dirty household work. Ooh, I need a scullery. God, that would be amazing. Y'all know one of my biggest fantasies in this life is to have one of those garage sinks. So, the sinks that are in some people's garages, they're like deep and they have plumbing and everything. And I guess people use them for, I don't know, yard work. I don't know what people use those sinks for, but honey, I would use that sink probably almost every single day. Fantasy. I fantasize about that kind of stuff. So a scullery sounds amazing, but it says she needs a scullery made. She just needs a little captive, honey, that she just keeps in the back, keep them in the basement, and just, that now they belong to you. Yeah, her expectations are unrealistic. Right. It says When she said you need to have been juggling multiple balls since birth and dropping none, it says, so you have to have been a servant since birth. Yeah, basically. Says, I'm realizing that about myself, PTE. These employers don't care about us. I'm already fed up with my career as a grant writer and I'm only 31. Whoo-wee. For those of you who may not be aware, or if you're new, we did do a corporate cults review series on this channel and we did a marathon. So I highly recommend checking out that series for more advice on all things work related. I am happy to say, though, the tide is starting to turn, although they are not giving up the fight easy. They are starting to concede to people's new demands. Like, no, y'all aren't going to do that to us. You're not the great resignation. It's like we're just so tired of putting up with your garbage. Like, you're going to have to be better people for us to work for you. They're like, well, we'll give you pizza party Fridays. It's like, we don't want a pizza party. We want these narc managers gone. That's what we want. Keep your pizza, fire the narc manager, and bring in someone with some high emotional intelligence. And we'll come back to work. Like, y'all got to get the psychopaths out of the building. They got to go. Let's see here. Wow, that's really good. I think I'm actually going to close the show on this one. It says she wants crops without plowing the field. Wow, that's really, really good. Really deep, too. She wants the crops without plowing the field or planting the seeds. She just she just wants you to she wants to reap all the rewards without putting in any of the work, which is pretty much how narcissists think all the time. They want to reap the rewards of life without doing the hard work. And it actually makes them terrible people, y'all. And this is something I'm working on for a deeper PTE. But there is a book called A Conversation with the Devil. And essentially, one of the principles that came out of that book, and it's an audio book on YouTube too, by the way. It's just a little awkward to listen to, but one of the principles that comes out of that essentially is the devil tries to make you lazy. That's one of the devil's goals, is to make you lazy. And the devil has many different ways of doing that. So this makes me think of that. Like, you become a terrible person. Oh, and this was in People of the Lie too, I think. You become a terrible person when you start to disconnect basically from like work in a way, or any type of hard work. You become worse and worse and worse over time. Think about the people who do very little for themselves. They don't clean their own house. They don't wash their own car. They don't do their own hair. They don't, trim their own beard, whatever. They don't cook their own food. And don't get me wrong, we all indulge in conveniences from time to time. But the people who make a habit out of never doing anything for themselves typically become the worst people on earth, because they are totally disconnected from and divorced from the evil. Basically, that came out of People of the Lie. But we are going to cover A Conversation with the Devil, though, just on a deeper PTE. But yeah, that's a concept from People of the Lie. They start to become very, very disconnected from the evil, and it makes them horrible people, and it tends to make them very arrogant, because they've totally lost sight of what it really takes to get the job done and to, achieve the goals that they want to achieve. I told y'all once before, one of the worst curses that you can ever place on a narcissist is to look them dead in the eye and say to them, I hope one day you have to do your own work. And I guarantee you, if you say that to them, they will probably melt down on you on the spot. I pray one day you have to do your own work. And that's all. Just say that, stop talking, get up and walk away. They'll cuss you out as you're walking away from them, because they know that is one of the greatest curses they could ever experience, having to actually do their own work. So with that, you guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's show. I hope you now clearly see some signs that could be coming out of your future boss, signs that they might be a complete nut. And when you see signs like this, it is on you to turn around and walk in the other direction unless you like this type of stuff. You might be a masochist. And if so, that's on you. Hey, but know who you are, though, and don't get mad when you get drugged through the ringer when they actually told you who they were up front. A lot of times they don't tell you who they are up front. You find out gradually over time, but this is one of the rare cases where they actually gave us a glimpse into that brain ahead of time. So it is up to you to protect yourself, okay? Protect yourself from these people. Recognize when something is unreasonable and make a different choice or a different selection. Again, pray that they have to do their own work one day. And with that, you guys, yeah, run, don't walk. With that, thank you all so much for being here. We'll talk again very, very soon. And hopefully, this live stream goes through. They said that they fixed the issue. So I hope that it is still up when I hang up with you guys. Okay. So take care. We'll talk again soon and have a great rest of your weekend. Bye.